in the vast, untamed wilderness of Russia, where the howling winds carried the whispers of ancient spirits and the dense forests held secrets darker than the deepest night, there existed a figure who was the embodiment of fear itself, Koschei the Immortal. In a land where myths and legends were as old as time, none struck terror into the hearts of the Russian people like the name of Koschei. He was no mere man but a spectre of death, an immortal tyrant whose power and cruelty knew no bounds. The sky over Russia was a relentless grey, as if mourning the countless souls who had fallen under Koschei's curse. His fortress, a towering structure of black stone, loomed over the horizon like a harbinger of doom. It was said that Koschei's life force was hidden away, making him impervious to death, a true curse upon the land of Russia. The bravest warriors trembled at the mere thought of confronting him, for none had ever returned from his lair alive. In a small, secluded village on the edge of Russia's vast wilderness, there lived a young prince named Ivan. He was a man of great valor, a warrior whose name was spoken with respect throughout Russia. But Ivan's heart belonged to Princess Maria, the most beautiful maiden in all of Russia. Their love was a beacon of hope in the dark times that had befallen the land. Yet, this love would soon be tested beyond measure. One fateful night, when the moon was shrouded in a thick veil of clouds, Koschei descended upon the village like a plague. His eyes, cold and unyielding, fixed upon Maria, and with a cruel smile, he snatched her away, disappearing into the night. The villagers, paralyzed by fear, could only watch as their beloved princess was taken by the immortal sorcerer, leaving behind nothing but the echo of her desperate cries. Despair settled over the village, but not in Ivan's heart. His love for Maria was stronger than any fear, more powerful than the tales of Koschei's invincibility. With a sword forged from the finest steel in Russia and the blessings of the village elders, Ivan swore to rescue Maria from Koschei's clutches or die trying. Ivan's journey took him deep into the heart of Russia's untamed wilderness, where the trees seemed to close in around him, and the very air was thick with malice. The path was treacherous, and every step was a battle against the elements, as if the land itself was conspiring to keep him from reaching his goal. But Ivan, driven by love and fury, pressed on, each step bringing him closer to Koschei's dark fortress. The fortress of Koschei stood as a monument to his unholy power, its walls built from the bones of those who had dared to defy him. The gates groaned open, welcoming Ivan into the belly of the beast. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the silence was broken only by the distant, haunting wails of souls trapped within the fortress walls. Ivan moved stealthily through the fortress, his every sense heightened by the tension that gripped his heart. He knew that Koschei was near, that the final confrontation was inevitable. And then, in the deepest, darkest chamber of the fortress, he found him, Koschei, the embodiment of Russia's darkest fears. Koschei sat upon a throne of bones, his eyes glowing with a sinister light. He was tall and skeletal, his skin stretched tight over his bones, as if death itself had taken human form. But there was no mistaking the power that radiated from him, a power that had kept him alive for centuries. Ivan Koschei's voice was a low, menacing growl that echoed through the chamber. "You've come to die." But Ivan was undeterred. With a voice as steady as steel, he demanded the return of Maria. Koschei laughed, a sound that sent shivers down Ivan's spine. "Foolish boy," Koschei sneered. "I am immortal. You cannot kill me. My life is hidden far from here, in a place you will never find." Koschei revealed that his life was hidden in a needle, inside an egg, which was inside a duck, that was inside a hare, all of which were locked in a chest buried beneath an ancient oak tree on the mystical island of Bayan, a place lost in the mists of Russian legend. The revelation filled Ivan with both hope and dread. He knew the journey would be perilous, but he had no choice. With renewed determination, Ivan left the fortress, embarking on a quest that would take him to the very edge of Russia's known world. The journey to Bayan was fraught with danger. The rivers were wide and treacherous, filled with spirits that sought to drag him down into their watery graves. The forests were alive with dark magic, the trees themselves reaching out to ensnare him. But Ivan, driven by the thought of Maria in Koschei's clutches, pressed on, fighting against the very land that sought to defeat him. At last, Ivan reached the island of Bayan, a place shrouded in eternal mist. The ancient oak tree stood tall and foreboding, its twisted branches seeming to guard the secrets buried beneath it. With hands trembling from exhaustion, Ivan dug into the earth until he uncovered the chest. His heart raced as he opened it, releasing the hair. The creature bolted, but Ivan was quicker, his reflexes honed by years of training. From the hair came the duck, which took to the skies. Ivan's heart pounded in his chest as he nocked an arrow, taking aim at the fleeing bird. Time seemed to slow as the arrow flew true, striking the duck down. The egg tumbled from its grasp, and with a cry of triumph, Ivan seized it. As his fingers closed around the egg, Ivan felt the weight of the world upon him. This was it, the life of Koschei, the key to saving Maria. With a mighty effort, Ivan cracked the egg and pulled out the needle. Far away in his fortress, Koschei let out a scream that echoed through the very fabric of Russia, a sound of unimaginable pain as his immortality was shattered. The walls of his fortress trembled and collapsed, and the dark magic that had once held Russia in a grip of fear began to dissipate like smoke in the wind. Ivan returned to his village with Maria by his side. The darkness that had plagued Russia lifted at last. Their love had triumphed over the darkest of evils, and their story would be told for generations, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the indomitable spirit of Russia. And so, in the annals of Russian legend, the story of Koschei the Immortal lives on a reminder that even the darkest of nights must give way to the dawn, and that love is a force that can conquer even death itself.